So, so let's get back at it for the reading. So last time we were introduced to the prayers you have to, or the mantras you can also call it, you have to say during the ceremony, and it's a lot to memorize here. Also, you need to write these four names: Agla, Aglai, Aglata, Aglatai on the papers. So let's continue reading. The witch names are to be placed in the front, behind, and on either side of the head. Furthermore, the master ought to have with him in the circle those pentacles or medals which are necessary to his purpose, which are described hereinafter, and which should be constructed according to the rules given in the chapter on pentacles. They should be described on virgin paper with a pen. I must say, if that really, if King Solomon really wrote a book that way, he always describes an action and then says, yeah, it's further described in this and that chapter. So that's a little bit confusing sometimes, yeah. And ink, blood, or colors prepared according to the manner which we shall hereafter show in the chapters on these subjects. It will be sufficient to take only those pentacles which are actually required. They should be sewed to the front of the linen robe on the chest. So you also have to sew, oh man, with the consecrated needle of the art, and with a thread which has been woven by a young girl. There's a lot of things you need here. After this, let the master turn himself towards the eastern quarter, unless directed to the contrary, or unless he should be wishing to call spirits which belong to another quarter of the universe, and pronounce with a loud voice the conjuration contained in this chapter. And if the spirits be disobedient and do not then make their appearance, he must arise and take the exercised knife of art, wherewith he hath constructed the circle, and raise it towards the sky, as if he wished to beat or strike the air, and conjure the spirits. Let him then lay his right hand and the knife upon the pentacles or medals constructed of and described upon virgin paper, which are fastened to or sewn upon his breast, and let him repeat the following conjuration upon his knees. Conjuration. O Lord, hear my prayer, and let me my cry come unto thee. O Lord God Almighty, who has reigned before the beginning of the ages, and who by thine infinite wisdom hast created the heavens, the earth, and the sea, and all that in them is, all that is visible, and all that is invisible, as by a single word. I praise thee, I bless thee, I adore thee, I glorify thee, and I pray thee now at the present time to be merciful unto me, a miserable sinner, for I am the work of thine hands. Save me and direct me by thy holy name, thou to whom nothing is difficult, nothing is impossible, and deliver me from the night of mine ignorance, and enable me to go forth therefrom. Enlighten me with a spark of thine infinite wisdom. Take away from my senses the desire of covetousness, and the iniquity of mine idle words. Give unto me thy servant a wise understanding, penetrating and subtle heart, to acquire and comprehend all sciences and arts. Give me unto me capacity to hear, and strength of memory to retain them, so that I may be able to accomplish my desires and understand and learn all difficult and desirable sciences, and also that I may be able to comprehend the hidden secrets of the holy writings. Give me the virtue to conceive them, so that I may be able to bring forth and pronounce my words with patience and humility, for the instruction of others, as thou hast ordered me. O God, the Father, all powerful and all merciful, who has created all things, who knowest and conceivest them universally, and to whom nothing is hidden, nothing is impossible, I entreat thy grace for me and for thy servant, because thou seest and knowest well that we perform not this work to tempt thy strength and thy power as if in doubt thereof, but rather that we may know and understand the truth of all hidden things. I beseech thee to have the kindness to be favorable unto us by thy splendor, thy magnificence, and thy holiness, and by thy holy, terrible, and inseparable name, Ian. Ian. Ian, at which the whole world doth tremble, and by the fear with which all creatures obey thee. Grant, O Lord, that we may become responsive unto thy grace, so that though it we may have a full confidence in and knowledge of thee, and that the spirits may discover themselves here in our presence, and that those which are gentle and peaceable may come unto us, so that they may be obedient unto thy commands through thee, O most holy Adonai, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and whose empire endureth unto the ages of the ages. Amen. After having, so that was it, the conjuring. After having said all these words, devoutly let the master arise and place his hands upon the pentacles, and let one of the companions hold the book open before the master, who, raising his eyes to heaven and turning unto the four quarters of the universe, shall say, O Lord, be thou unto me a tower of strength against the appearance and assaults of the evil spirits. After this, turning towards the four quarters of the universe, he shall say the following words: These be the symbols and the names of the Creator, which can bring terror and fear unto you. Obey me then by the power of these holy names, and by these mysterious symbols of the secret of secrets, the which being said and done, thou shalt see them draw near and approach from all parts. But if they be hindered, detained, or occupied in some way, and so that they cannot come, or if they are unwilling to come, then the sophomigrations and sensings being performed anew, and the disciples having anew by a special order touched their swords, and the master having encouraged his disciples, he shall reform the cycle with the knife of art, and raising the said knife towards the sky, he shall, as it were, strike the air therewith. After this, he shall lay his hand upon the pentacles, and having bent his knees before the Most High, he shall repeat with humility the following confession, the which his disciples shall also do, and they shall recite it in a low and humble voice, so that they can scarcely be heard. Okay, let's cut here. So as not to interfere with the direction of the will currents of the master. So that's a side note. That was a side note from the translator here. So the confession we say for next time. I think I will post the prayers actually in my story and Instagram. And the conjuring might be useful for someone, whoever. I mean, it's for you, whoever is interested and finds the way to this. Of the prayers. Oh, did it work now? Did I screenshot it? Yes, it worked. And the conjuration. Conjuration, I said conjuring, that's a movie. Conjuration, but it's the words are, of course, same. Good. So, see you next time then.